Good afternoon. You're welcome back to class. Please, if you can hear me loud and clear, I want you to type 11 in the chat room. If you can hear me loud and clear, please type 11 in the chat room. Okay, thank you, Mr. Jami. Thank you. Okay. Okay, please, can someone hear me apart from Mr. Jami? Can someone hear me? If you can hear me loud and clear, please type 11 in the chat room, please. All right. All right. Okay. Am I audible? Can someone hear me? Mr. Benjamin Ade, can you hear me? Mr. Clement, can you hear me? Director Jamil, can you hear me? Okay. All right. Thank you. Okay. All right. Thank you, Mr. Yaya Ahmad. Okay. Without taking much of our time, I want to, okay, thank you. I want to bring to us our next facilitator. I'm Joseph Oluwaseyi David. And our facilitator is a well-known person to us. Is a versatile, is a man of many parts. And I believe during his period this morning, we had a lot of insightful and exciting time. Without much ado, please, I want to welcome the Director of Program, Dr. Banito, to take us on waste management. Dr. Banito.
All right, thank you so much, Dr. Dave.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you for coming around again. It's been an awesome time having you around. I must appreciate your great work. Thank you so much. And to everyone that is back, thank you so much and welcome back. So please let me confirm that everyone can hear me loud and clear. Please, if you can hear me loud and clear, please let me type 11 in the chat room. If you can hear me loud and clear, let me type 11 in the chat room. Okay, so thank you. I'm seeing 11, so that means at least someone can hear me. I want to ask a question, and I think it will help us. Okay, it will help us. I kept making some comments in the chat room, but no one responded. And when we even ask questions, people barely respond. So I want to find out, should we continue this class or should we move it to later time? Let me find out if there are so much in your itinerary that you think you might not be able to cover this period, and let me know so that we don't use time that might not be that effective. So please let me get from the chat room. Should we have the afternoon class or should we move the class? Because the responses we are getting this afternoon is quite cold. Okay, or is it raining in all the areas? Is it raining in your area? So I need us to have a consensus. If we should have the class, please type 22 in the chat room. I'm seeing 11 people out of about 40 people that attended the class in the morning. If we should continue with the class, let's type 22. we are possibly going to be rounding up this class by 4 o'clock today. So there is no evening class. We just have just 2 periods. I will take this period, then Dr. Dave will come and take his period, and then we'll be done. Okay, so you see, I still have only 322 in the chat room. So perhaps someone is saying we should not take the class now. All right, so for the sake of time management, please, we'll have to take this class. Should you in any way miss the class, please ensure to use the YouTube channel to get the preview of the class. All right, so thank you so much. I'm going to be talking about waste management. The class is much, or is bulky, but I will try to see how I can finish this in 2 hours or less. It's supposed to be a 2 hours, 30 minutes class, but I'll try to see how I can finish it in 2 hours or less, so that Dr. Dave will take his own class, and then we'll try and round up before 4. Okay, we'll try and round up before 4, so that we can all go and have all of the rest of today. Okay. All right, thank you so much. So we are going to be dealing with waste management. Management of hazardous substances, management of organic substances, paper, plastic, glass, residual or residue. Then we have metal and textile. Today, there is no doubt gainsaying that waste management, effective waste management, had made so many individuals rich, had made so many companies rich, and had made so many countries rich as well. Okay. There have been so many waste innovations that has kept some companies quite rich. For instance, in Nigeria, we have those that manage polythene waste, and they are using it to make a lot of money, right? Find those that are managing organic waste. And so many others. Then we'll see countries that transform their waste to use it for power generation. Okay, and whole lot. So waste management is an effective, or could be an effective way of generating wealth. Waste management could be an effective way of generating wealth. So I have to pay attention to it. And then see how we can make the most out of it. So we are going to be looking at what is waste, then the various types of waste. Then look at the waste management process. We look at principles of effective waste management. Then we look at the various elements of waste management programs. We also look at waste management practices at workplace, the role of waste management manager, explain role of workplace inspection in waste management, describe what to look for in inspections, then identify types of waste management inspections, look at standardization of waste management inspections, look at the solutions used for waste management. We'll also look at special waste management. Then we'll look at MSDS in hazardous waste management, material safety data sheets in hazardous waste management. Then we'll look at PPE for hazardous waste management. PPE for hazardous waste management. Okay. Okay, I'm going to be playing some videos. Just a way of helping us understand that there had been a lot going on in the waste management industry. So in case you have not really considered waste management as a tool, then you need to start considering it as an effective tool for generating wealth. So I'm going to be playing some of the videos from YouTube and some of the things people are doing. So maybe it could help us, all right? I trust you can see my screen. And I would like to confirm.
Carefully avoid the piles of trash that have become permanent features of the city's landscape. One social enterprise, Taka Taka Solutions.
Okay, so please, if you can hear the sound of the video, please you can type 1 in the chat room. Let me be sure. If you can see the video and you can hear the sound. All right. So let's go through the video and see how just 2 minutes, 1 minute clip on waste processing. Then we'll see how people are maximizing the opportunities that waste has provided in their different regions and how they are making the most of it. So let's look at this from Nairobi.
In the Kangemi suburb of Nairobi, residents carefully avoid the piles of trash that have become permanent features of the city's landscape. One social enterprise, Taka Taka Solutions, aims to change the terrain. Taka Taka, which means trash in Kiswahili, offers affordable waste collection services to Kangemi residents. Daniel Poffenholtz founded the company in 2011.
So legally speaking, in Nairobi, the city council is supposed to provide waste management services for all residents. So that's about 3.5 million people. Effectively, the city has 8 trucks.
The limited capacity of the city to collect trash means that private companies have filled in the gap. But few of these serve lower-income neighborhoods such as Kangemi. 2/3 of the area's 2,000 tons of waste remains uncollected.
You can dump it in a river, you can burn it, you can bury it in the ground, you can pay someone to take it to the next illegal dump site, which is 100 meters away.
The environmental consequences of these practices are substantial. Unregulated dump sites contaminate groundwater, and burning trash produces harmful emissions. Rivers clogged with waste become breeding grounds for malaria. Alex Seru is a resident of Kangemi.
So we didn't have any place, the specific place where you can throw the taka. We just dispose them anywhere, anyhow.
Seru now pays nearly $1 a month to have Taka Taka Solutions collect his trash. At that price, Poffenholtz estimates 90 to 95% of households in Nairobi could afford waste collection. The challenge is convincing residents that it's worth the money. Elizabeth Aluwach is a Taka Taka salesperson.
They were used to not paying. They were using other ways to dump their waste. So by convincing them that now we have to do this, and it is important for you and the environment as a whole, some things get hard.
The company asks its 6,000 clients to separate trash into 3 separate bins for organic, recyclable, and residual waste. Poffenholtz says this is difficult behavior to change, but fundamental to keeping costs down. 80% of collected waste is recycled or composted, minimizing the load sent to the municipal dump at Dandora. Collection trucks charge between $100 and $200 for each trip. The organic waste is handled at Taka Taka's composting facility in Kangemi.
We're processing about 3 to 4 tons of organic waste a day, and there's no smells, no emissions. We're literally just 10 meters next to residential houses, and there have been no problems whatsoever.
Taka Taka is now testing the resulting batches of fertilizer in farms upcountry. Rupa Goganeni for VOA News, Nairobi.
Okay, so we've been able to see what happened there on how they've been able to get
this
waste, how they've been able to get waste and manage it to something worthwhile. A country of 3.5 million people And this
In the
company
Kangemi suburb
has
of Nairobi, residents carefully avoid the piles of trash that have become permanent features of the
over 6,000 people that they are serving. So this is a very good opportunity. Okay, obviously, this company will be making a whole lot of money. Okay, this company will be making a whole lot of money. Now, quickly, let's look at this other one, sustainable waste management solutions. Let's quickly look at them and let's see what people are doing around the globe to manage waste.
If we keep managing the solid waste the way we have been doing for the last 50 years, it's not going to be sustainable.
UTA professor Sahara Hossain grew up in Bangladesh.
In developing countries, many cases they don't have any landfill. All they have is open dump. Everybody living next to the open dump, they are all sick. And I saw those people when I was a kid. Now we know this is a problem, waste generation. We are converting that into a solution.
He's testing his solutions and proving them effective at the City of Denton's landfill, about an hour north of the University of Texas at Arlington campus.
Because Dr. Hossain and his graduate students are working in an area that we function or operate in, we thought that it was a good opportunity to partner together to work on providing research projects that would improve the way that we operate.
As the world's population increases, so is the amount of trash generated. What doesn't grow is landfill space.
There comes the concept of landfill mining. So let's say in Denton they have 6 different cells. They are completing and closing cell 1, then go to cell 2, cell 3. Now we are standing on cell 4. Eventually all the cell will be complete. So where we are going to go? Instead of going to another place, we are starting with cell 0. We are going to mine all the material out of it. We are going to reuse some of that material, sell some of the recyclable that we can do. Then once we are digging out, that's the available space. So we start filling that place, that becomes our new landfill. So if the landfill life was supposed to be 30 years, if we keep using again and again, it will last for 200 years.
This is the first landfill mining project in Texas, and the first in the US to be a part of a sustainable waste management system. 4 years ago, UTA installed a high-tech sensor system here to boost methane gas production. Now, this landfill generates enough electricity to power 3,000 homes. The UTA Denton collaboration is so innovative and impactful, members of the International Solid Waste Association came to North Texas to observe and learn.
The way that they manage the solid waste here is something that should be taken to the other places.
If one country is generating a lot of waste and there's like improper treatment, that could have an effect, on the long term on all of us.
A global problem, a bold solution, exemplifying UTA's commitment to improving health and the human condition, building sustainable urban communities, making a global environmental impact, and doing it all through data-driven discoveries.
In terms of university's strategic plan, we are basically covering every component of a strategic plan, and I'm very proud of it.
The University of Texas at Arlington, defining what it means to be the model 21st century urban research university.
Welcome.
Okay, so we've seen some solutions. We've seen some solutions around waste management, and there are so many of them. So if you keep searching through YouTube, you'll find so many waste management innovations that are coming to place, and they are really making people are really making the most of the opportunities. So there is quite a massive opportunity. So you can hear from the case study that we just viewed. A country is using that to generate electricity for their people. Others are using it to create sustainable energy advantages. So we all must see that waste management, therefore, is an important and integral part of economic development, an important and integral part of economic development. So having viewed these videos and listened to all of this, let's quickly go through what we have here and then see how we can understand the basic principles of waste management. Let's understand the basic principles of waste management. But before I proceed, do we have anyone here who is an environmentalist? If you're an environmentalist, please can you type 22 in the chat room? You are an environmentalist. You deal with waste management and all of that, please. Can you type 22 in the chat room? If you're an environmentalist, please. Can you type 22 in the chat room? Okay, so if we have someone who has intention of going into waste management, can you type 21 in the chat room? You have intention of going into waste management, or you are into waste management. Can you type 21 in the chat room? You have intention, or you are a practitioner of waste management. Okay, so I have someone who has intention of going to waste management someday. All right. So whether I have intention of going to it or not, waste management is a great opportunity for us all. Waste management is a great opportunity for us all. Should I tell you the truth? So many people are making a whole lot of money daily from waste management, managing waste in estates, managing waste in offices. Those people you call cleaners, gardeners in the house, in the office, they are all waste managers, and they are making, most of the companies are being paid millions and millions daily together. So maybe when I say waste management, someone's mind could be, no, I can't go packing dates and all of that. I can't go excavating dirt from landfill and all of that. That's not just the whole of it. We have those that do executive cleaning, okay, and so many companies are into it. Okay, I may not even be surprised if there's someone here whose company does office executive cleaning, but might not consider it as part of waste management. All right, so waste management is all encompassing, because it has to do with ensuring that there is safety of the environment at all levels, safety at the environment, personal level, corporate level, national level, at all levels. All right. Okay, so let's proceed and see what we have here. Let's quickly look at this case study. Mike Waters has been working in the facilities operation and management for several years. He has about 7 years of experience in taking care of overall operation and management of a company. He has about 7 years of experience in taking care of the overall operation and management of a company's facilities and infrastructure. Recently, Mike is working with SoftSoul Incorporated, a leading provider of software solutions. SoftSoul is a large company with several large dedicated departments handling and managing their own tasks. One such department at SoftSoul is the Sustenance and Environment Protection Department. This department is responsible for handling the housekeeping, cleanliness, and waste management needs of the company. Mike does not work directly with the Sustenance and Environment Protection Department, but does supervise functioning at a high level. So now Mike wants to change his job and has applied at Maswell Software Incorporated. Maswell is a smaller company than SoftSoul, and so does not have very dedicated department for various tasks. Many departments at Maswell overlap with other departments and so do not have very defined boundaries for handling tasks. One such department is the facilities department at Maswell. Mike have applied as the facilities head at Maswell and appears for an interview. However, Mike is surprised to find that as a part of his job role at a facilities head, he will also be responsible for handling the complete waste management process. Mike was not overlooking the waste management process that SoftSoul earlier. Mike was not overlooking the waste management process at SoftSoul earlier. So he is not aware of the intricacies that go into a waste management process. Mike also finds out that from his colleagues in the industry that nowadays, due to stress on companies and laws on environmental waste management, has become a very important concept. Mike decides that he will learn about waste management and apply that so that he becomes a better professional in his field. Mike now knows that apart from the smooth operations of a company, managing its waste is also crucial to its efficient working. Mike also gets to know that there are stringent laws and regulations that companies have to follow with respect to waste management to remain compliant with law. Hence, for any professional to be good in the field of infrastructure and facilities management, it has to be efficient and have extensive knowledge of waste management. So having established that, let's now look at what waste management is all about. Waste is defined as any substance that has no further use left and requires nearby or off-site treatment and transfer to be disposed of. So any substance that does not have any further economic use by the disposer, we call that waste. So in my own way, I would say, I always say that waste is waste to whom it is waste. Because what I call waste, another one may call it raw material. Okay, so waste is what does not have any economic value to the disposer, okay, which may require nearby or off-site treatment before we transfer them or dispose them. However, you should keep in mind that what is defined as waste greatly depends upon the local governing regulations, also which define waste through government's eyes. Waste is generated through human activities such as normal household, office activities, and may include recyclable general waste such as paper, wood, holders, organic waste, or non-recyclable general waste such as food, scraps, building construction materials, and so on. Now, do you know there are several online tools available on the internet that enable organizations to measure their waste, customize an action plan to reduce waste rather, and provide guidance on reducing, reusing, and recycling waste. So you need to find out what these websites are and then try to make use of them. Now let's look at the types of waste. We have liquid waste, solid waste, hazardous waste, organic waste, and then we have recyclable waste. Liquid waste, solid waste, hazardous waste, organic waste, and recyclable waste. For the liquid waste, can be categorized into point and non-point source waste. Point source waste includes all manufactured liquids such as waste detergents. Non-point source waste include all natural liquid waste such as rainwater. So on-point sources are manufactured waste, while non-point sources are natural liquid wastes. All right, okay. For solid waste, that could be classified into plastic waste such as bags, bottles. We have paper waste such as newspapers, cardboard. We have metal waste such as soda cans, containers, and so on. They will have glass and ceramics such as plates, showpieces, and so on. They will have the hazardous waste. The hazardous waste include all types of waste that are flammable, toxic, corrosive, and reactive, such as fire extinguishers, pesticides, biohazards, and so on. All right. They will also have organic wastes. They come from plants or animal sources. All food waste, manure, and dog poop are all classified as organic waste. So whether it's dog poop, cow poop, any form of poop, they are all organic waste, provided they are degradable and they can be reintegrated into the soil. Okay, they are all biodegradable. They will have the recyclable waste, which is converting used items into products that can be used again. Solid items such as paper, aluminum, furniture, and organic waste can all be recycled. Now, in Nigeria, in a place like Lagos, Port Harcourt, we have waste companies that encourage students to pick waste to a certain quantity and bring to them, and they pay their school fees. Okay, I have seen that where people pay their school fees through waste recycling. So is it to pick waste sachet leathers or PET bottles? At the end of the day, you have a certain quantity you pick and the company gets to pay your school fees. All right, so those recyclable waste are also very, very important. Now, let's look at what the waste management process is all about. What the waste management process is all about. Now, following are the key steps of waste management process. We have policy, we have organizing, we have planning and implementing, measuring performance, inspecting and reviewing performance. So let's look at each one in view. For the policy, effective waste management standards and policies should be set for a clear direction for organization to follow. Now, there is something about waste management. Waste management or waste management policies are actually part of the culture that exists in nations. They are part of the culture that exists in communities, part of the culture that exists in homes. Now, in Nigeria, we have three major ethnic groups. We have Igbo, Hausa, and Yoruba. Now, the Igbo man doesn't need to be born in a Yoruba land to just be conversant with throwing dirt anywhere. A Hausa man doesn't need to be born in an Igbo land to be conversant. Just naturally, is just nature. The environment supports such behaviors. So there are no strict government policies and the like. But there had been some government policies on paper, but by implementation, they are not working. But for some other states, there had been some reformation in waste management policies now in Nigeria, and there had been integration of a lot of waste management agencies across different states in Nigeria. So for instance, in Lagos, if you go to Lagos right now and you dispose sachet leathers, PET bottles, or dispose waste indiscriminately, they will arrest you on the spot and you pay for fine. And if care is not taken, they take you to cell before you bail yourself. Okay, the same thing applicable in Port Harcourt, the same thing applicable in some other states around Nigeria. So government are beginning. Abuja is if they mistakenly catch you disposing waste indiscriminately, they will just take you off from there. Just be careful that the day anyone will catch you, let it not be SARS. Because if SARS catch you, in fact, if care is not taking, your life is just gone from there. So there must be effective waste management policies. And these effective waste management policies should be part of our culture. Now, if you look at the first video we watched today of that Taka company, where they had to create different waste disposal bins, the video had it that it was difficult to get to convince the people because it has been a culture for them to dispose waste indiscriminately. So having to start remodeling their behaviors and start remodeling their culture by introducing the change of having different bins where they would dispose waste. It was difficult. Okay, but gradually, the company is winning the war. All right, so we must have effective policies that will back up waste management. To have effective waste management, we must have effective waste management policies. Now, the second one is organizing. An effective waste management structure and arrangement should be in place for delivering the policy. An effective waste management structure and arrangement should be in place for delivering the policy. Can someone help me identify or mention some of the waste management agencies we have in Nigeria? Just give us the abbreviations in the chat room. The waste management agencies we have in Nigeria, can we make mention of some of them? The waste management agencies that we have in Nigeria, can you mention some? Okay, so we have LOMA, which is a Lagos State Waste Management Agency. Okay, so on federal levels, which ones do we have? On federal levels, which ones do we have? Waste management agencies on federal levels. Can you remember anyone? Local government levels. Can you remember anyone? Okay. At federal level, we have people like NESRA. Like we are using Nigeria as a case. We have NESRA, National Environmental a sanitation regulatory agency. They will have PSP and so many others. We have several parastatals in Nigeria that actually deal with waste management, but we still produce a whole lot of waste. Okay, we still produce a whole lot of waste. So it's not enough to have policies. We must have effective structures in place to make sure that those policies are carried out. Okay, to make sure that those policies are carried out. Then we have the planning and implementation. You should use a planned and systematic approach to implementing the waste management policy through an effective waste management and reduction program system. Now, I don't know how many of us here stay around Abuja, but can you remember then, was it 2011, that government introduced the private sector in waste management in Abuja? So we had to start paying for waste. Till now, we still pay for the waste. How many of us noticed the time that at the first time it wasn't really going down well with the people, because people were like, the costs, the charges were high, and how do you expect them to start paying for their waste? Can't they decide where to throw their waste and all of that? Okay, but with time it became a comfortable thing to do, that most people in Abuja now don't even know the road outside of their gates when it comes to waste disposal. But there was a time that on Saturdays like this, people are staying at home just to ensure that they dispose their waste. So someone will carry waste from Wuse and go all the way to maybe Lube Airport Road and go and dump it there. Another one will move from Airport Road and go to Kuje and dump it there. Another one will move from Kuje and go to Gwagwalada and dump it there. Another one will move from Maitama and go to Kubwa. From Kubwa, the one will move to Zuba. And it keeps going like that. But in this era, or in this type, since 2011, there had been a reformation that helps in waste reduction approaches and all of those implementation going well with us. Okay, so there must be some planning and implementation strategies that will ensure effective waste management. The measuring performance, waste management performance is measured against agreed standards to review when and where improvement is needed. The truth is, if every country could pay attention to the level of waste they generate, it could serve a very great deal in helping in several things. Okay, now, is it in Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates? I was reading a research of a particular company, that what they do is that they recycle all the wastewater in that particular country and transform it to potable water. So they don't need to drill borehole to have such. They don't need to create high impact activities on the environment before they could get potable water. Now, the same thing is said to be done in Israel. Like the whole country has a waste management agency where all the holes, everything called liquid waste containing water, they are all reprocessed and used back in the country. So if you look at waste management, there are other countries like the one we saw now, was it California or Washington, that uses their waste to produce electricity for their people. Okay, and we have some parts of Australia that do such also. Some countries in Australia, Russia, that use their waste for power generation. And this could have gone a long way in reducing the high level impact, mechanical impact in the environment by all of such activities that would have generated electricity to the country. And obviously you will agree with me that these activities are in no small way contributing to the national GDP, contributing to the level of economic stability in those countries. So waste management is a great avenue for economic growth and development. They will have the inspection and reviewing of performance. Okay. The organization learns from all relevant experience, inspections, and audit and applies the lesson for better and improved waste management. Now, someone was asking a question in the chat room. He says, is that biogas? Now, those days we were doing our project work in school. My friend's project was to use biogas for processing for generation of energy. Okay. And what was the source of the biogas? The source of the biogas, I think he had about 5 different samples. He had biogas from domestic waste, so all of the waste, kitchen waste that we get, all the bio kitchen waste that we get. He has a biodigester to deal with that. Then we have other waste from commercial waste, like waste from abattoir. So the cow dung, that was another waste he was also working on. Then he had farm waste. So the waste from waste mangoes in the bush, waste oranges, waste banana, and all of that. He got that also. And we were just doing simple experiments in his house. At the end of the day, he was able to produce a large volume of biogas. That he was doing that research in line with a research institute then in school. They call it Energy Research Center. Okay, Energy Research Center then in school. Okay. Now the funny thing is, he was able to get a very good work, but the thing ended up on paper, published, had a very good journal rating, but application is not there. We are in our decades out of the university now. Nobody is talking. In fact, he is not even doing anything about the research he did in school. Of course, myself, I am not doing anything about the research I did in school. Okay. So most of these research works that we do have their own practical applications in real life. Universities should support investment activities in those areas. Universities should solicit for investment, because the truth is this: if you check most of those projects that we did in school, there are enough employment opportunities, not just for us as individuals, but to create opportunities for so many others. Now, imagine if that my friend had ended up owning a biogas energy generation center. He'll be producing biogas, say for, okay, even if it were to be for only Nigeria, imagine how much that will be bringing to the economy. Imagine the rate of unemployment that will reduce. Okay, imagine. So universities shouldn't just focus on write your project, make it good, get good factor rating and all of that, and at the end of the day is unpublished article, or perhaps published article at the end of the day is in your departmental library for reference purposes. That doesn't really drive the purpose of research. Okay. Now, I have principles of effective waste management. Principles of effective waste management. Principles of effective waste management. We have reliable and early detection of waste, creating activities and careful planning, command, coordination, and organized structure with efficient, trained personnel, resources, and procedures for handling waste of all types, appropriate hazardous waste control actions. Effective notification and communication facilities, proper training of consigned personnel, regular mock drill and rehearsals, regular review and updating of waste management plan. If your business uses radioactive materials or any other hazardous waste, you should ensure you have strategies set up to classify, handle, store, and dispose it accurately. Now, types of functions in waste management. Waste management can be divided into two broad categories by function analysis. We have operational or implementation functions, then we have management functions. Now let's look at each one in detail. Operational or implementation functions. Operational exercises are everyday or routine support capacities, including specialists. Activities incorporate the operation and upkeep of general physical assets, keeping in mind the end goal to maintain the great condition and appearance of the workplace, to enhance physical assets, to give a protected and solid condition for the facility's essential activities through proper waste management upkeep. Undertakings at this level have a generally short-term scope and include particular procedures, straightforward and immediate. For example, cleaning, supplanting, repairing, and groundskeeping, and so on, as part of operations activities to ensure that the workplace is in healthy conditions. They will have secure plans for such routine operations and administrations are the foundation of good waste management practice. They will have the management functions. Management functions can further be identified at tactical levels and at strategic levels. At tactical levels, tactics are activities pertaining to everyday, specific, and short-term preventive or managerial or administrative operations. Such activities are best kept basic, center, for instance, on routine activities, for example, waste management methodology for effective waste disposal or appropriate utilization and reduction of waste. Activities on this level support proper conduct in the environment and the congruity of working conditions. So tactical levels focus on the day-to-day affairs of operations that are being carried out within an organization, and then how those wastes can be managed effectively. That's tactical. Then the strategic dimension, at the strategic level, there is conference and non-routine planning of functions for making the best long-haul utilization of the facilities, physical assets, and general resources. So strategic approach looks at waste management on a long range. So you look at it on a sustainable advantage basis, while the tactical approach looks at waste management at the immediate advantage basis. So the strategic level activities are used for managing the complexities of equivocal, non-routine circumstances, which can influence the course and fate of the entire waste management program. Strategy formulation requires an incorporated approach, since the whole waste management program ought to move in harmony in the same direction. Although long-term forecasting can only hypothesize about the future, strategic planning aims to reduce uncertainty by choosing a preferred path and a reasonable long-term direction for the development of the waste management procedures. Now, quickly, let's look at the elements of waste management program. We have 4 basic elements of the waste management program: management commitment and employee involvement, work site analysis, hazard prevention and control, and waste management training. So let's look at each of these. For the first one, we have management commitment and employee involvement. Management commitment and employee involvement are complementary. Management commitment provides the motivating force and resources for organizing and controlling waste management activities. Employee involvement provides the means through which workers develop and express their own commitment to waste reduction and management. Please, I want to say this. No matter how effective your policies are, if management is not committed to those policies, to supporting the implementation, the effective implementation of those policies can never produce results. Why most countries tend not to have very good culture when it comes to waste management is because the government is not being effective. The government is not showing all the necessary support towards the waste management policy that they raised by themselves. Okay, so if we show a nonchalant attitude to waste management, management, the employees will also show nonchalant attitude to the waste management policies. So both parties, management must first be committed and then employee involvement will then become a good way of managing waste. The following actions should be taken by management and employees for effective waste management programs. Clearly state waste management and reduction policy. Communicate a clear objective for the program. Involve top management in implementation. Encourage employee involvement in the program. Assign and communicate responsibility. Provide adequate authority and resources. Hold parties accountable. Review program operations. Now, the next element of waste management program is the work site analysis. The work site analysis. Work site analysis. Now, work site analysis involve a variety of work site examinations to identify not only existing hazards, but also conditions and operations where waste reduction changes can be made. Effective management actively analyzes the work and the work site to anticipate and reduce waste. So if you go back to what we did in the morning, talking about job hazard analysis, we can use that in work site analysis as well. Then you go back to what we did in the first day, talking about unsafe art auditing. Unsafe art auditing. If you use the unsafe art auditing approach to work site analysis as to find out sources of waste, how they can be reduced, that could also be a wonderful way. If you want to use the general hazard analysis, work hazard analysis format to find out that. So by doing work site analysis, we understand the activities in the work site. They will understand the sources. We understand the activity, the task that produce which hazard or produce which waste. And then that could also give us inclination on how to manage those wastes. Okay, that's very, very important. The following actions should be taken for work site analysis for an effective waste management program. Identify waste and hazards, conduct surveys, analyze planned and new resources, then perform routine analysis, provide regular site inspections, provide reliable system for employees to notify management, provide investigation of waste, analyze waste creation trends over time. The next one is hazard prevention and control. The drive for hazard prevention and control is triggered by a determination that a hazard or a potential hazard exists. Where feasible, prevent hazards by effective design of job or site. Where elimination is not feasible, control hazards to prevent unsafe and unhealthy, unhealthful exposure. Elimination or control must be accomplished in a timely manner. Now, the activities required for effective hazard waste management program. Number one, plan and prepare for hazard waste emergencies, conduct training and drills, establish a hazard waste management program. First aid on site should be provided. Physicians and emergency should be available. Establish protocols for timely management or control of hazard. Establish procedures. Provide PPEs. Use administrative controls where necessary. Ensure proper maintenance. And the last one will be on waste management training. An effective waste management training should address the responsibilities of all personnel for waste reduction. Such programs are most effective when incorporated into other training about performance requirements and job practices. The waste management training will depend on the complexity of work sites and nature of work of waste and hazards. Ensure that all employees, that the programs or the activities, actions that need to be covered under the waste management training. Ensure that all employees know how to manage waste. Ensure that supervisors carry out their responsibilities. Analyze the work under their supervision to identify unrecognized potential hazards and waste. Maintain physical protection. Reinforce employee training. Ensure that managers understand their responsibilities. Now, quickly, let's look at waste management practices at workplace. Waste management practices at workplace. Learn and practice proper waste management techniques. Check out the wastes around your job site. Use the right tool for the right job to tackle waste. Pick up after yourself. Keep the job site neat. Don't be littering everywhere. Wear the proper protective equipment. Now, quickly, let's look at this example as we proceed. Sparks Residency is a large, lavish, and luxurious residential gated community. Now, before we come back to this, please, can we just take 2 minutes break or 1 minute break and we'll be back. Please, 1 minute break and we'll be back. I need to take a cup of water. All right, welcome back. I trust we all enjoyed the break. Okay. Please, if you can still hear me loud and clear, please can you help me type 1-1 in the chat room? If you can hear me loud and clear, please help me type 1-1 in the chat room. All right, thank you so much. Let's continue. Please, I want to be sure that we are understanding a little of what we're doing around this waste management. Please, if you're understanding this waste management, please, can you have me type 22 in the chat room? Or if you have questions before we take this next case study, please, you can just let me know. Okay, so let's proceed. Do I have any lecturer in this house? Do I have any lecturer that is into environment management? Do we have any lecturer in environment management here? Do I have any lecturer here on environment management? Do I have any lecturer here in, okay, maybe In the last class, we had somebody from Ministry of Environment from River State. We had a staff from, I don't know whether she's still here. Okay. I sincerely believe that knowledge should be applicable, not just not just docile. I sincerely believe that knowledge should be applicable, not just being docile. And what this means is, to me, I don't go for knowledge that I will not apply. I don't read everything. I don't go for all trainings. I don't go for all seminars. I go for trainings that I know that I want to make the most use of the information. If I want to read anything, I will read news. But if I want to go for training, I don't just wake up and say, let me go for this training because it's coming up. No. So in essence, it's important that for every one of us in this safety profession, find the area of most interest and focus on it. You know, quite a number of people are making good fortune daily from safety consultancy. Some are partnering with government on safety projects and all of that. So when you get your certification out of this, don't just go and sit at home and they ask you what's up. You say you're looking for a job. Wait, I want to ask, how many of us actually believe that professionals shouldn't be looking for a job? If you ever believe so, can you help me type 00 in the chat room? You believe that professionals shouldn't be looking for a job? Help me type 00 in the chat room. Okay, thank you, Binta Bamali. Now, I sincerely believe that if you're a professional, you shouldn't go around announcing that you don't have a job. That's an insult on your profession. Director, there is no but to it. You know, I've been teaching professional courses for how long now? I think I've been teaching professional courses since 2012 on public basics. I've taught professional courses to companies, to individuals, to universities, and all of that. I always give them this challenge. In fact, in one of the classes I handled, one of the company CEOs told me that I'm encouraging his staff to leave her. I said, no, I'm not encouraging them to leave you. Within the organization, we still have entrepreneurship in organizations. So you should be ready to accept innovative and creative staff who can turn up opportunities for you. So as we are taking all these classes, you shouldn't just use it for portfolio building. It's not for portfolio building. You're building yourself to add value. So if at the end of the day, all of these things we are learning, they are not reflected in the way we now handle things, in the way we now think, in the way we now create new opportunities, that means we've not really learned. We only came to increase portfolio. So what am I saying in essence? I'm not saying everybody here will end up as a consultant. No, that's not what I'm saying. But in our workplaces, there should be a refined way of doing things. That instead of going to call a consultant outside, they have to call you. One of our members was telling me, was it yesterday? October 1st. Okay, that should be on Thursday. He was telling me, he said, very soon he will go and start his consulting firm. I said, okay, that would be good. He said, do I know in his company, he's the head of marketing in his organization. But now his work has expanded more than marketing. So his company pays him, his company actually feels comfortable paying him extra to do the work that they would have used a consultant to do. So now he does internal consulting for the company. That's what we are talking about. So don't just build this value and expect that it's only when they call you up, oh, that's when you start showing yourself. If they don't call you up, you keep yourself. After all, you paid with your money. You attended the class with your time. So they shouldn't steal from you. If all this mentality of my company is stealing from what I know, the more they don't steal from me, the more that knowledge becomes rotten. One day, both the stealing and the knowledge will not be available. So we should be liberal as far as we get to understand these things, we should be strategic in the uses of this knowledge. Okay, we should be strategic in the use of this knowledge that we acquire. All right. I sincerely believe that there are quite unlimited opportunities in the waste industry, waste management industry. Okay, and generally in the safety industry, occupational health and safety industry. All right. I was discussing with one of our trainees. She called me over the weekend. Oh, sorry, over the week. Now, this person has a consulting firm and has a PhD, but the person has not been able to reposition his or her consulting outfit to suit the kind of clients she wants. So the business is still looking like it's not what people want. Then as she came coming to the class, she was getting better off with that. With the knowledge she was learning, she was able to say, okay, in this, my consulting, this is what I should be doing now. In this area, this is how I should fix it now. In that area, that's how. So with the knowledge you're getting, you should be refining your values. That's what I'm trying to say here. With the knowledge you're getting, you should go back and do a SWOT analysis and find out the things that need to be created now as opportunities from the new knowledge you've gotten, and the ones that need to be eliminated based on the new knowledge you've gotten too. So we shouldn't keep knowledge docile. Any knowledge you don't use will soon become a spoiled akamo. Okay, any knowledge you don't use will soon become a spoiled akamo. So it's good we leverage on this knowledge that we are gathering and make sure that we are using them effectively, apply them where they are needed. Okay, where they are needed. Some of us in this class, after this whole program, and when you start applying some of the things you've learned here, you just get your promotion, maybe head of safety department, or they just give you one of it. Now, somebody could think I'm joking. Something happened some years ago, was in 2017 or 2018. A young accountant came to one of our classes, project management class. Sorry, it wasn't project management, it was human resource management class. And this young accountant had been working with a very big organization, and he has not really gotten the recognition that he wanted. So within the period of his training, one day they were having management meeting. The company was having management meeting. He wasn't to be part of the meeting, but he was sitting where he can hear what was happening. So at the end of the meeting, the CEO was asking the management, what should we do? Nobody could give an answer. And it was a HR case. And when the MD came out, the young man told him that based on, sorry that he was eavesdropping on what was happening, but their voice was loud. So he said, based on this question, this is what I think should be done. And the man looked at him and asked him, are you a HR professional? Now, of course, you know the answer. Do you know about human resources? The answer is very simple now. Yes, I know about it. And from an accountant that was not given recognition, that same day, he was promoted to HR manager. That same day. So we shouldn't keep our knowledge to ourselves. Okay, we shouldn't keep our knowledge to ourselves. I've shared several experiences that have happened to several people around our trainings and the likes. Okay, so when you get your knowledge, try to use it. In the process of using it, that's when you create value. And in the process of creating value, that's when you get reward. Without value given, there is no reward gotten. Without value given, there is no reward gotten. So we must pay attention to what? To constantly creating value. All right, we must pay attention to constantly creating value. All right. So with all of this we are learning, please don't just go and say, I'm preparing for exam. I'm preparing for HSC exam. The certificate is going to come from US. Will the certificate do the job? Will the certificate create the value? Oh, so some people, before the class is even over, they go and attach it to their names. Mr. ABC, they now put AHSC. LHSC, my level has changed. It is not those acronyms that you put there that change your level. It is what you do with the knowledge that you've gotten that actually changes your level. All right? So before we come to induction by March next year, we should have had good testimonies of how we've been able to transform this raw material called knowledge that we've been getting or that we've been getting to useful value to our companies and to ourselves. All right. Okay, so now let's look at this case study as we begin to round up. Sparks Residency is a large, lavish, and luxurious residential gated community. It has been developed by one of the leading construction companies called Galaxy Builders. Sparks Residency has many high-rising apartment buildings with flats available for sale. There are flats and penthouses of large, medium to small ground areas that are suitable for a wide variety of family sizes. Sparks Residency is Galaxy's first venture in the residential building space. Till now, they had been largely developing commercial complexes and multi-complex buildings. If the Sparks Residency venture turns out to be successful, Galaxy has big plans for capturing a large market share of commercial building segment. Based on Galaxy's stellar reputation, the flats in Sparks Residency got sold easily. Almost 6 months after the project was announced, almost all the apartments were fully booked in advance. However, after 6 months of inauguration of the Sparks Residency, Galaxy Builders soon realized that building and maintaining residential buildings is difficult. Maintenance of residential buildings is a completely different story than building and maintaining commercial buildings. Galaxy Builders was responsible for the upkeep and maintenance of the Sparks residence through a lease-based agreement with a third-party vendor. However, Galaxy Builders soon realized that the largest challenge they were facing with managing Sparks residency was to do with waste management. In commercial complexes, the type of waste that was produced was very different from the kind of waste being produced by this residential complex. Also, it was easier to manage waste management in commercial complexes as there were dedicated teams to tackle waste management. So it was easy to give this department a set of rules and regulations about waste management and then just monitor whether these rules were being adhered to. However, in residential apartments, each apartment had several floors with multiple flats in total. This made it extremely difficult to lay down the rules and regulations of waste management and to make everyone adhere to them. So for the ease of management, Galaxy Builders asked the third-party vendor to manage each apartment as a single unit in itself with respect to waste management. Then they could put together the efforts of all the apartments together and come up with regulations for waste management for the entire Sparks Residency complex. Very soon, the entire waste management process at Sparks Residency was being smoothly run by dividing it across apartments and within apartments across floors. Hence, you can understand that when it comes to waste management, changes like use can have a significant impact on kind of waste produced and processes of waste management. Also, you can understand how it is crucial to offer good and effective waste management services for any building to be suitable for its inhabitants. Now, quickly, let's look at the role of waste management manager. The waste management manager creates the waste management strategy and plan, which incorporates taking a long-term look at waste management and to ensure that arrangements are for long haul and are not simply here and now fixes. Manage large number of contracts such as for cleaning and specialized supports to guarantee temporary workers stick to Concord principles. Is in charge of a compliance to few parts of the Occupational Health and Safety Act. I want to ask a question. How many of us know that a health and safety manager is also an effective operations and facility manager? How many of us know that a health and safety manager is also effective in operations and facility management? Let me know your answer in the chat room. If you know, type 11. If you don't know, type 00. You know that, yes, as a safety manager now, you can go and pick up operations work, facilities and maintenance work in organizations. Okay, so for those of us that don't know, now you know. So HSE is an all-encompassing field. Okay, it's an all-encompassing field. It's not just tied to what we might just generally look at it as HSE, people, environment, asset, and reputation. Each of those components on themselves are wide opportunities. People are wide opportunities. Environment, wide opportunities. Security management or asset management, wide opportunity. Reputation management, wide opportunity. So after this program, consider opportunities that are not, it mustn't be called HSE manager before you say, yes, I can apply. No. If you see opportunity for waste management, waste manager, okay, that's good. If you look for opportunity for operations manager, of course, you already have the knowledge of how it should be done. If you have opportunity for facility manager, so these courses are all interwoven, okay, and HSE is applicable in most cases. I want to also ask a question here. How many of us know that HSE managers can also work as HR managers? You know that safety managers can also work as HR managers. If you know that, type 22 in the chat room. If you don't know, type 00. You know that, yes, HSE managers can swap with HR managers and vice versa. If you know that, type 22 in the chat room. If you don't know, type 00, so that we can understand the scope of which we are learning. So you see, a good number of us know, a good number of us don't know. So when you see opportunity and say, okay, we need HR manager, as a safety manager, look at this. Just listen to me. The number one element that safety is looking at first is people. And what we want to do with people, the well-being of people. And what is human resources? Management of the well-being of people in a workplace. So if you are a good safety officer, you should be able to work good as a HR manager. And in the HR department, look at this now. For those of us taking HR, you will still end up doing health and safety program as one of your classes. Now, in the HR department, HR is a broad field. HR is a broad field. Inside HR, you have safety department. Inside HR, you have training and development. Inside HR, you have accounting. Inside HR, you have several things inside HR. So as a safety manager, you can actually comfortably realign yourself to management of people in the workplace. Okay. Okay, somebody said, yes, they can do, but not vis-a-vis. Okay. Now, I don't know the depth of knowledge you have about safety, but HR and HSE, a good HR professional will perform the work of a HSE professional very good, because a HR is responsible for people management, right? Now, he's responsible for creating the environment where the people will be well motivated to work. Now, talking about employee experience, that's now going back to environment. The HR is responsible for creating the culture that we call reputation, and that's what the HSE manager wants to protect. So if you're a HSE manager, you can do a great work of the HR, and the HR can also do a great work of the HSE manager. And I will need you to understand this as I repeat it. HSE, as it were, is a subset of HR in the organization. HSE is a subset, is an extraction from the HR department in an organization. And that's why you see some organizations, they don't talk about, those of them that have HSE, they don't really talk about HR that much. Those of them that have HR, they don't talk about HSE that much because they feel like they are the same. The only difference we might begin to see is when we now begin to look at HR more on the recruitment aspect, talent development aspect, and some of the aspects that HSE might not pay attention to. But when it comes to motivation of people, when it comes to management of people to give results, a good HSE manager should be able to do that effectively. All right. So there is a network of activity that synchronizes the assignment of a HR and that of what? A HSE personnel. All right. Okay. I'm seeing a hand that is raised up. Don't worry. We will take your comments after the class. I'm about rounding up right now. So role of a waste manager, continue. The waste manager is in charge of obtaining additional benefits that, such as from waste reduction practices, reduce the effect of utilization of facilities on the environment through waste reduction procedures and practices, implement and give an account of adherence and money-related benchmarks for administration. Environmental standards must be applied and given an amount of manageability issues and give an account of utilities. A waste management manager is a solitary point of contact and governance for coordination of all administrations related to proficient running of a waste management program. This incorporates setting up and running a help desk for all administrations and management of additional waste management activities. Now, I want to categorically say something here. If you notice in most of the HSE trainings that are being carried out, you hear things like HSE 1, 2, 3. As it were in Nigeria, HSE management is not common yet, okay? It's not common. And whenever we talk about HSE 1, 2, 3, we just talk about level 1, level 2, and level 3. But we don't look at the management aspect of it. And that's where most of us lose sight of the administrative role of HSE professionals in the management setup. There is a management role or administrative role of a HSE professional in a management setup. So in the HSE management, we not only look at courses contained in HSE level 1 to 3, but we now look at the HSE manager understanding his administrative roles in management, okay, in business growth, in product development, and all of that. All right. Okay. Training for waste reduction and management. The following are the various kinds of training that can or that should be provided to people dealing with waste reduction and management. We have the basic training, we have waste reduction management, technical trainings, and supervisory training. So let's see what each one has to say. The basic training is where the new person dealing with waste management is introduced to the waste management procedures, conditions of services, rules of disposal, and waste types, among others. In addition, it is also given to familiarize the new person with the job. Then we'll have the supervisory trainings, which is what most of them will have at level 3 of HSE. So the basic training is more of level 1. The supervisory is what we have at level 3. Okay. In supervisory training, supervisors are trained for technical skills, leadership qualities, for handling men. Now, for those of us that have been telling that there is a network of relationship between HR and HSE. Now, look at this statement. In supervisory role, supervisors are trained for technical skills, leadership skills, for handling men. What are men in this case? So we can actually remove men and say for handling human resources, is it not? Who handle the job of waste management and to supervise various departments involved in waste reduction and management. Then we'll look at the technical training, which is more of what we see in level 2. Okay, technical trainings are more of what we see in level 2. So this type of training program help in teaching people the intricacies of waste management, waste types, operational requirements of the waste management business, and involving or improving the skills of existing employees. Now we have the waste reduction management. This type of training is for developing waste reduction specialists. These training programs emphasize attitudes and values, conceptual knowledge, operational abilities, and skills for reducing waste. The purpose is to equip personnel for waste reduction specialist roles. Now, did you know that steps to effectively manage waste in your business are step 1, estimate the amount of waste produced by your business. Step 2, reduce waste going to landfill by recycling, reusing, and reducing waste. And 3, support local authorities for collection of recyclable materials. The time we have might not allow us to complete this particular class, but we'll be sure to finish this class. In case we did not round it up now, please, everyone that has this manual, take your time and go through all of these materials. During the discussion sessions and during the revision sessions, we'll definitely come back to some of these things that we are not completed. All right, so I think we'll have 2 weeks for revision before exam. All right, so we'll definitely come back to them. Role of workplace inspection in waste management. Following is importance of workplace inspection in waste management. One of the best ways to identify potential waste and harmful things is to conduct workplace inspections. Once these wastes and hazards have been identified, they can be properly addressed. Unsafe materials that are observed should be addressed, as should waste producing procedures. Waste accumulation is a danger to health and facility operations, and this in turn reduces operational efficiency. It is very important, therefore, that inspections should be a vital part of your waste prevention and management program. Inspections help to maintain safe work environment, control waste producing acts and conditions, ensure operational efficiency. Now, what do we inspect? We inspect the entire workplace. We inspect both internal and exterior work environments. In the entire workplace means all buildings and structures where work is being done. A building divided into several different inspections, and all the different inspections must be completed before we could say the entire inspection is completed. For both interior and exterior work environment, don't forget to check work areas. Remember to address waste in areas that can be easily missed, such as parking areas, storage areas, and so on. Now, what do we look out for in inspections? What do we look out for in inspections? We look out for indoor waste. We look out for electrical waste and hazardous or hazard management and compliance. We look out for housekeeping practices. We look out for equipment operation and maintenance practices. We look out for waste producing conditions, and we look out for unsafe acts, unsafe practices. Tip: initiate a waste reduction program in your organization. This is an incredible method to build participation amongst your staff on reducing waste. Now, on the type of waste management inspections, we have the formal inspections, and we have special function inspections. Then we have the daily or weekly inspections. When we are looking at unsafe acts and accident investigation, we looked at the different types of inspections. Now, for formal inspections, there are those that are scheduled in advance. They may include a waste management officer and waste management committee members. Daily and weekly inspections, all employees are qualified to conduct informal visual inspections of their work areas for waste management failures. Supervisors should continuously monitor work areas for developing waste management failures, hazards, or wasteful practices. For the special function inspections are conducted after waste management failures or special wasteful conditions to come up, and upon the introduction of new equipment or new procedures, they may be conducted by other regulatory bodies. Now, the checklist of inspection categories. The checklist of inspection categories. You should have a ready checklist of the various categories of inspection to be carried out for detecting waste and hazard. If you have specialized areas that are waste rich and hazardous, then add them to checklist. The waste creation, collection, and hazards area should be inspected in each building or area as per the audit or manual. Building hazards and waste should be classified separately. Of office hazards and waste, electrical hazards and waste, equipment hazards and waste, storage hazards and waste. Okay, so I think I will be stopping here for now. I will complete this in tomorrow's class. After we are done with Dr. David's lecture tomorrow, I will be completing this. But meanwhile, for those of us that have the manual, please take the time to go through the manual. If you don't have the manual and you intend to get the manual, please, we encourage you to do so. All right. So at this point, I will say thank you so much for giving me 2 hours of your time this afternoon. And this will be our last class for today, so that you go and have a wonderful rest, and then we'll reconvene tomorrow. All right. Okay, I'll be handing over to Dr. David right now. Dr. Dave, over to you, please.
Thank you so much, Dr. Banito. What a wonderful and insightful time with you. Thanks so much. We really appreciate that. All right. Does anybody have any question? It's time for question and answer. So, any question? I think Mrs. Binta Bamadi raised her hands up. I don't know if she still wants to go ahead.
Yes, her hand is still up. Yeah, her hand is still up. Just unmute her. Let's hear from her, please.
Okay. This is Binta Bamali. Please, you can unmute yourself. You have been unmuted.
Okay, thank you so much. Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon, ma.
I just wanted to first comment to a session regarding the HR and the HSC professionals. In as much as I agree with you that a HSC professional can do the work of a HR, I want to sincerely believe that since I started this course, there's so many new things that I have never known, I have never paid attention to. But by virtue of taking the course, I am gaining the knowledge, obviously, which I hope to apply. So how can it be possible that someone who hasn't taken this course that I am taking can do my job? I mean, vis-a-vis. Like that was why I said I agree that the HSE could do the HR thing because it's a management of people, which obviously you have to go through. But as a HR professional, if you haven't taken a professional course, particularly when it has to do with safety, there's so many acronyms that I'm trying to understand what they mean. You know, let's just take, for example, the job safety hazard. There's a reporting, there's an auditing. I have never seen those forms before. I would never have imagined, because I was telling my husband, can you imagine these people saying that they'll be auditing? What are you auditing in safety? He was just laughing because he's a HR professional. And he said to me, Madam, you audit everything. You yourself, you should be audited. You know? So I believe that when I take an in-depth course and someone who hasn't taken, I don't see how they can exchange roles, except if you mean on the ferry, that's on the surface. He could just do probably maybe the lifting, the sleeves, the trips, the falls and all that, but certainly not the in-depth things that we are talking about here.
Okay, thank you so much, Mrs. Bamali, for that. Your assumption is right. Please note that I said the HSC manager can do the work of HR. Remember I said there could be exceptions. Exceptions in areas like, let's talk about payroll management, talk about talent management, recruitment, and all of that. But I sincerely said that there could be a network of activities synergizing the two of them. And that network of activity will come to management of people. Okay, I'm not saying that a HSC professional will now outrightly become a HR professional overnight. No, but there are similarities that exist between them. And like I said, in the HR is actually, or safety is a subset of the HR. It's just that it was carved out and now given a full-blown profession on its own. But even as a HR professional, in your courses, you take safety courses, you take occupational health and safety courses to understand hazards, understand risks, understand job hazard analysis and all of that. You still do that in the HR field also. Okay, so there are synergies, but remember, there are depths of knowledge that by coming to this class you will have that the person that is doing only HR might not have, and vice versa. There are depths of knowledge that the person in HR will have that the person doing only HSC will not have. But with the work of management, integrating the two of them together, both can perform administration or management at certain levels. Okay, I think that helps. All right.
Thanks so much, sir.
Would there be any other question? Yep.
There is someone in the chat room, Mr. Raymond.
Okay.
He said he has paid for manual and this particular course is not included.
Waste management is not included. Which level did you pay for? If you paid for level 1 and 2, this course, I'm not sure it's in level 2. You find it in level 3. So if you paid for level 1 and 2, you might not find it there. But you should find it in level 3. All right.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. All right. Do we have any other questions? Does anybody have any other question to ask? Okay. We're waiting. All right. Okay, no more. Somebody said no more question, or one more question.
One more question. Please kindly unmute
Mrs. Vita. Okay. All right. Please go ahead, ma'am. You have been unmuted.
Okay. Thank you once again. I actually wanted to make an observation. I don't know if it's from my own end. The manuals that I did download, it seems that the ones you use in the class are kind of summary. And I have a manual that has about 200 pages. And I was just wondering why you just did not, be kind enough to also let us have the summary, because if I have a 200 pager that I need to read and I have less than 4 weeks or 5 weeks to study for my exams, and I have maybe 6 or 7 of those manuals, that is quite a hectic thing to do, sorting out what to read and whatnot. Can you be kind enough to please, for those of us that have made the payment, to also help with the summarized material? Because I think the main essence of the course is not like you want us to go word by word. Trying to cram like we used to do in the university. You want us to understand what you're trying to teach. So if we're talking about understanding, I think simplifying the reading material goes a long way in helping you to understand, instead of you having to go through a 200 pager and wondering, okay, what am I going to read now? Where do I touch? Where do I skip? And all that. If you can kindly, share the summarized ones, I think it will go a long way.
Okay. Are you seeing my screen?
Yes.
You're seeing the objectives on the screen, right?
Yes.
Okay, so on the slide area where my cursor is, can you see 130 of 200?
Yes.
Okay, so we are not, this is actually the summary. This 200, the 200 you have is the same 200 I'm using.
But you know the intrigues of where to go touch. Even the one you did earlier, I was just looking at you scrolling your screen, and I saw when you just you said we came to the end. I'm like, end, when he's just in page 39 of about 180. So I was just wondering, you know how to pick. So it's really giving me an issue, honestly.
Okay. No, for the ones that need to be picked, like the one I was using in the morning was OSH OSHA material. So I didn't have to bother about reading all the tables of contents and all of that. So I went to where I needed, which was the most important part of the class. So in the same way, we don't really need to bother about when you get such material, you don't need to bother about reading all the appendix, because that material had over 20 pages of appendix that had templates and all of that, which I did not share in the class. So those ones are the ones we need for our job, where we have need for them, we can then use them for our jobs. So, but the materials, basically, they are the same. They are the same number of pages that we are using. All right, thank you so much, Ma. Okay, Dr. David.
Thank you so much, sir. All right. Do we have any questions? I think someone raised his hand before and he lowered the hand.
Okay, I'm seeing Director Mike and Mr. Nelson Afebu. Please, can we just take these two and round up, please?
It's all right. Mr. Director Mike. Over to you, Director Mike. You have been nominated.
I still haven't gotten my 4.5 gigabyte data.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, Mrs. Bita, you've not gotten your 4.5 gig.
Yes, so she said.
Oh, please kindly send us a message on WhatsApp. You will get it right now. Maybe there was an omission. Please, if you've not gotten it, kindly send us a message on WhatsApp. You will get it right away. Okay, please, let's go ahead.
Okay. Director Mike.
I'm going to make my payment so I can get my own 4 gig too. Hello.
I thought you've done this course before.
No, I didn't do HSC. I did project management and HR.
Okay. I was thinking you are coming here for refresher course.
No, I'm doing this one now.
All right, sir. You're welcome.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I just want to have some clarification on one of something. You said HSC is as a HR person, you can take up HSC management and work as a HSC officer, a manager.
Yes.
And you also said that as a HSC, you can also take operation and facility managers.
That's right.
Okay. I want to know, because one thing my own understanding is that HSC is needed maybe in a construction company, oil and gas company, and so on. So and I also know that there's also a standard that they always require. This is now neighbors, something like that. But I have somebody who is doing. I mentioned this cost to him. So my what I want to understand now is that if as an HR personnel or consultant, what is the advantage of taking a HSC? Because that's something that I don't know before, and while taking this HSC course, it came up, and I have a better understanding of it than when I was in a women and resources class. So I just want to have a kind of balance between the two. Thanks, sir.
Thank you so much, sir. I'm actually trying to rush off because I have another class by 4 o'clock? But I'm going to answer your question. So for the last, Mr. Patrick, you're in this class. I know you came for a refresher course. We'll answer a question on call, please. Mr. Nelson Afebu, you'll be the only one to ask question. Consultant Patrick will answer our call. We'll answer our own in the call. All right, Director Mike.
Yes, sir.
From your question, HSC before now was made like it's only for engineers. And that's why if we ever ask in this class now, how many engineers or science people do have, we could be shocked to have 90% of people here from science-based field, because they feel like they are the only one that is exposed to risk. But that has been the concept that have been driven because of where HSC was originated. The people that actually drive HSC is primarily the oil and gas, and most of the people dominating the oil and gas are engineers. So that makes it feel like engineering, construction, and all of that, they are the ones only for HSC, but that's not true. HSC is for anywhere you find human beings, anywhere you find environment, anywhere there are assets, anywhere there is a reputation at stake, there is a HSC there. Because all you want to do is protect people, protect environment, protect assets, protect environment, protect reputation. So it's an all-encompassing field. Now, if you look at GHRM, it places emphasis on people more. Then if you look at HSC, what we talk about more is safety, 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 safety. Safety is generic. Is not specific to people, is not specific to environment, is not specific to asset, is not specific to reputation, but rather is covering all of them. Okay, so why HR is specific to, if you mention HR, the whole notion is human being. If you mention safety, the whole notion should be everything around the workplace. People, environment, asset, reputation, they should all be covered inside. Okay, so it doesn't have, safety doesn't have a specific field. In the banking industry, we have safety. That's why you go there, you see gas, what they call them, extinguishers hung up and down. Then you see their safety policies well written. Okay, you go to service companies, insurance companies, you see their fire extinguishers and you see their safety policies being written. The only thing is that safety policies and safety tools should adapt to the particular kind of environment that your business is up to. So if you're in engineering environment, the kind of PPEs and the kind of safety tools and policies we might have there will definitely be different from the one we'll have maybe in a hospital, will be different from the one we'll have maybe in a consulting firm, say safety consulting firm or the like. Okay, so that's about that. That's about that. Okay, please, can we take the question of Mr. Febu immediately? Let me run away from here. Is there anyone that has not signed attendance? Please, the attendance is in the chat room. Is there anyone that has not signed attendance? Please, Mr. Febu, kindly go ahead with your question. And if you can help me be brief to straight to the question, I'll appreciate it.
Okay, thank you very much, Doctor. Mine is not really a question. I just want to ask because I'm a bit confused. The timetables that we were sent earlier says that the HSC class today starts by 3 p.m. and it's so for every other weekend till the end of the program. So, but I want to ask, are we doing HSC in the other classes, or we are still all the classes are being taken together, or you have HSC class as a separate class of its own?
This class is only for HSC. There is no combined class. Every class is on their own.
Okay. Because the timetable,
I'm trying to, just give me a second. Let me verify something. Not that today's timetable was tampered. Today's time, not only for HSC, every other course today had some tampering, and we sent out messages to that effect.
I didn't get that message.
You didn't get message of any kind, including the
chat
room?
Okay, I didn't check the chat room.
Okay, so maybe you could have seen that, but let me just, I know we made mention that class was going to resume by 2. So from the timetable we have here, HSC classes 9 to 10:30, 10:30 to 12, 2 to 4:30, 4:30 to 6:30. That's the timetable we have here, and it did not change. So classes started today by 2.
The timetable I'm seeing here, October 3rd, says 3 p.m. That's all I'm seeing. It's actually an email. The email that was sent to me.
Please use your timetable. We have a timetable we sent out. some of the messages were automatically generated from Zoom. So if you keep receiving messages from Zoom, that's an auto-generated message. Okay, just pay attention to your timetable and try to be in class so that you will get all the necessary timetables. For now, I will say thank you so much to everyone and see you. When do I see you? We see you